Welcome back to Campfire Whispers, your daily fix of horror stories, unsolved mysteries, and straight-up unbelievable content. My name is Eki, and today I'm sharing a story called The Cursed Librarian. It started with a missing cat. Emilia Price, a quiet 28-year-old woman who had just moved into the sleepy town of Maris Hollow, wasn't someone who got spooked easily. She'd lived alone for most of her adult life, thrived in solitude, and preferred books to people. That's what made the little Victorian house at the end of Wren Street perfect. Cheap rent, creaking wood floors, and more shelves than she could ever fill. Her only company was her cat, Nibs, an aloof gray tabby who always returned by nightfall, until he didn't. The third night Nibs was gone, Emilia's concern gave way to unease. That same night, while wandering town with a flashlight and a hoodie pulled tight, she passed the Maris Hollow Public Library. It was after hours, but the front door was cracked open. Inside, dim light pooled across the old parquet floors like candle wax. That was when she saw the woman, standing motionless behind the circulation desk. She wore a long gray cardigan that hung like wet cloth and had hair the color of dust. Her name tag, faint beneath a yellowing plastic cover, read Miss Harrow. Her face was wrong, pale to the point of paper white, with dark hollows beneath her eyes. Her mouth was too thin, and her lips never quite closed over her teeth. Her eyes, however, were fixed and unblinking, watching Emilia from across the room. "I think you dropped this," the woman said. Her voice was a dry rasp. She held up a small silver bell. Emilia didn't recognize it, but she stepped forward out of politeness. When she reached to take it, the librarian's fingers lingered, long and thin like twigs. "Don't ring it," she said. Then Miss Harrow turned and disappeared into the back shelves, silent as fog. Emilia stood there alone, clutching the bell. Something about the air in the library had shifted. The temperature, the smell, the hum of electricity. It all felt wrong. She left in a hurry, the bell burning cold in her pocket. That night, Emilia found Nibs outside her door. But he wasn't the same. He hissed when she reached for him, eyes wide with terror. Then he ran into the house under the bed and stayed there, trembling. The next day, she returned to the library. She had questions, but the door was locked, and a new sign hung crookedly on the door, closed until further notice. A teenage boy on a skateboard rolled past and shouted, "You looking for the witch?" Emilia blinked. "The librarian?" "Miss Harrow," he said. "She's been dead for like 10 years. He skated off without further explanation. Emilia stood frozen in the street. The cold bell was still in her coat pocket. That night, the dreams began. In them, she wandered the library. It was vast, far larger than it could have been in real life. Endless rows of shelves stretched into darkness. Books whispered. Floors shifted beneath her. And always, in the distance, she heard the sound of something dragging its feet. The bell rang on its own in her dreams. Each time, the ringing drew Miss Harrow closer. Emilia would wake soaked in sweat, her hands aching like she'd been clutching something tight. On the fifth night, she woke with blood beneath her fingernails. The next morning, she opened the bell. It wasn't just decorative. Inside the hollow dome was something sharp. A tiny tooth, curved like a hook, embedded into the clapper. The metal stank of rust and decay. She tossed it into the garbage and tried to forget. But things only got worse. Books began appearing in her home, ones she hadn't borrowed. Ancient volumes with cracked leather covers and titles written in Latin or languages she didn't recognize. One of them had no words at all, only illustrations. Horrible ones. A woman stitched inside a book like a pressed flower. A librarian peeling her own face to reveal empty sockets underneath. A bell being rung in a room of mirrors, and every reflection showing something different. Emilia began to see things during the day. Miss Harrow's reflection in store windows. Her silhouette at the end of hallways. Once, she saw her standing in Emilia's bathtub, arms submerged up to the elbow, smiling. The town had no record of a Miss Harrow. The library had been abandoned for a decade. Locals said it was condemned after a fire, but no one remembered the fire itself. No obituary, no photos, no staff lists. It was as if the woman had never existed. Except she did, because she wouldn't leave Emilia alone. Driven to desperation, Emilia broke into the library one night with a flashlight and a crowbar. The building had changed. The inside was choked with mildew and black mold. Wallpaper curled like dry leaves. Bookshelves leaned in crooked angles. And the smell, like rot and vinegar. She walked past the front desk and into the back stacks. The flashlight flickered as she moved deeper. Her breath fogged. The temperature plummeted. Then she heard it, the soft ring of a bell. Distant, deliberate. It echoed through the shelves, bouncing off stone that shouldn't have been there. The floor changed beneath her, wood became tile, then stone, then something soft that gave slightly under her boots. The flashlight died. In the dark, the bell rang again, closer now. And with it came a whisper. "You've read the wrong books." A hand touched her shoulder. Emilia turned, but there was no one behind her. Then a pale face emerged from the dark, eyes glowing faintly like lanterns submerged in ink. "Miss Harrow, you shouldn't be here," she whispered. "But now you are." The bell rang once more. Emilia screamed. She woke up in her bed. For a moment, she thought it had all been a nightmare. But her boots were wet with black mold. Her hands were scraped and bloody. Beneath her bed was a book that hadn't been there before. A ledger written in neat, spidery script. A list of names. Most were crossed out in red. At the bottom, Emilia Price. Uncrossed. Waiting. She tried to leave town the next day, but her car wouldn't start. The mechanic said her engine was filled with paper, torn pages jammed into the pistons. The police didn't believe her story. They told her to get some rest. That night, every book in her house opened on its own. Pages flapping, whispers in every corner. Nibs fled into the walls and never came out. Emilia finally understood. Miss Harrow wasn't a ghost. She was a keeper of something older than death. A guardian of stories that weren't meant to be read. Cursed texts that didn't end when you closed the cover. And she'd chosen Emilia. Chosen her to be the next librarian. To carry the bell. To manage the ledger. To haunt the stacks. Emilia fought it. Burned the books. Smashed the bell. But fire didn't work. Steel didn't shatter it. And the library was always there. In dreams, in mirrors, in moments when she blinked and reality slipped. Then one day, she disappeared. Just like Miss Harrow. Now, they say the library is open again. But only at night. Only if you're alone. Sometimes the door is cracked open and a dim light spills out across the floor like candle wax. And behind the desk stands a new woman. Her name tag reads, Miss Price. She smiles with lips that never quite close over her teeth. And in her hand, she holds a bell. She'll ask if you've ever lost something, maybe a cat, maybe a memory, maybe a name. She'll ask if you'd like to come in and read. Whatever you do, don't ring the bell. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Join me next time for more unbelievable tales on Campfire Whispers.